We are here. Gooners. Seems an echoing someone's mic there.
It's always how it starts, actually.
Welcome to the Positively Uncensored Arsenal Christmas special. Our podcast, whatever you want to call it, broadcast. And as usual, I have my good friend Blackburn George. What is that little animal furry creature you threw up there, George?
Santa.
Santa. This is supposed to be a Santa special. Where's your hat, George? Santa
Couldn't
hat.
get it, so I've got this on instead.
Oh, you got your jumper on.
Yeah.
Well, your days as a martial arts specialist still showing you don't have a big gut like mine. Ehab, how are you, my friend? In your part of the world, are you celebrating Christmas?
I think some people are celebrate Christmas. I'm traveling today, so hopefully tomorrow I will be in a more Christmassy mood.
No excuse. I don't see a Santa hat. I don't even see a trace of red. I went and found my elves hat from 2 years ago.
I have a Santa hat somewhere, but I didn't dig it up. I should have probably.
You guys are killjoy. I begged you to find Santa hat. At least George found his jumper. So, guys, how have you been doing? Merry Christmas to all Gooners. I was uncertain about the show, but then I said, you know what? It's Christmas spirit. Let me try to put some fun in all the Gooners' lives. We're in the top 4. We're in the semifinals of the Carabao Cup. What is there to be unhappy about?
Yep.
But I usually like to start with you, Ehab.
Okay.
We didn't get to talk about the last game with Leeds, punished them 2-0, and then we went on to Sunderland. Oh, I think you were on the Twitter ban. So George and I spoke about this on Monday or so when we did our last show, and we were like, has Arteta solved the attack?
Mm-hmm.
We scored a lot of goals. We looked very good in those 2 games. Yeah. 20 shots. 20 shots, Ehab. Can you imagine we were like 5 shots and Christmas came early. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Oh, I'm happy about it. Like everybody else should be. At least now we feel comfortable going into games with other teams. So hopefully this will keep happening. I'm happy because people now can see that the players were never the problem. All the players that they have been blasting all this time have come through and they played their hearts out. I don't see any tactical changes, but sooner or later everybody's gonna get better, and whatever the manager drew is gonna work out. Those are really good
careful
players.
there.
No, these are really good players. These are really amazing players. I don't want to go into it, and I loved it. It's the first period that, like, West Ham game and the Sunderland game are games that I really enjoyed. Like, I had fun watching. That I didn't, like, every 5 minutes feel like like I'm gonna have a heart attack or just go this is like, and this is amazing. I hope it keeps. Now I'm excited about Sunday's match. I can't wait for it.
What do you mean against Norwich? The might of Norwich?
Yeah, I just want him. Yeah, I'm okay. Just keep playing like this. Keep battering easy teams. There are some teams that are better than us, that are in a better situation than us. That sometimes we are not gonna get the same breaks that we are getting right now, and we are going to look frustrated. But this is a football team. This is what happens. One day soon, once the manager learns a little bit more tricks, the players, just get their roles a little bit better. We are gonna start playing as good as our squad is. I hope
that is George's thesis. That is George's thesis. That we the players will get better, and we should be playing according to our real potential, George. So what did Sunderland? I mean, it's not much of the first 11 played, but did Sunderland bear out your thesis? And let me just admit that I only saw the highlights on the .com. I don't even think they broadcast it out in the West. At least I didn't have the chance to search for it because of work. But George, did Sunderland prove anything?
Yeah, they proved that we can beat a League One team.
Yes.
Which
And
we
Ketia,
showed.
by the way, George, I noticed that all of Nketiah's goals was in the 6-yard box. But then again, I think it was Ehab made a point on Twitter. Ehab made a point on Twitter that you can count on the hands of your on your fingers of your hand how many goals Giroud scored from outside the box. So
Yeah, well, but
he's
that's
a poacher.
Good. That's what Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think how long was he at Manchester United? I don't think he scored a single goal from outside the box.
Yes, except pissing off the defenders with his fouling.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? He didn't score from outside the box.
Yes.
What's wrong with that? You know.
Of course not.
So it's all good. Like Ehab said, it's all good. That I said the other day that no matter how good or bad the system is, good players, when they get used to it, will improve it. It's as simple as that. And we're seeing this now. We saw a big improvement when Xhaka came back in the team. Not necessarily in results, but certainly in the team, the way the team was playing. And we even saw that against Sunderland. The moment he came on the field, we looked like a different team. But of course, you're banging a useless drum.
Well, you know,
trying to point out that Xhaka's a good player. You know.
Well, George and Ehab and the listeners, there are several YouTube accounts by my compatriots or descendants of my compatriots in England, and they're unanimously negative towards Xhaka. I'm like, what football are you watching? Are you guys really serious? But you should be listening to the real Jamaican.
I don't get it at all.
Yes.
You know, there was an argument on Twitter this morning. was Xhaka our best midfield player? And I'm thinking, well, clearly he's our best midfield player. The real question is he our best player? Not is he our best midfield player? It's fucking nonsense to have that debate. And my answer is, not only is he our best midfield player, he's our best player.
Yes.
And probably by as big a distance as we've seen for years, the discrepancy between him and the rest of the team. I mean, you could have made that argument about Ozil, but Ozil had Santi Cazorla in the team. There wasn't a massive disparity between them. But there's a huge gulf between Xhaka and everybody else in our team at the moment. Obviously, some players like Smith Rowe, Odegaard have the potential to get to that standard. But as it stands at the moment, they're nowhere near. He's I just don't understand it. It's something I can't take in.
I don't understand it either.
Maybe that's what I'll get for Christmas.
I don't understand either. That is why I made that comment, because as I kind of alluded to, I listen to these guys. And then let me be clear. Every guy, have their own thing going. I have nothing about that. I'm not into this canceling and telling you can't have your opinion, whatever. But Ehab, why is Xhaka so underestimated or undervalued?
Oh my God! Just wait. I mean, I can't believe you said he's our best player. You forgetting about Charlie Patino, who just crossed into world class the other day. Now everybody's going to be talking about him like, oh my God, Charlie Patino is the next KDB or whatever. Yeah. We've only seen him do 5 passes and score 1 goal. He could be the next.
It was a nice little shot, George. I mean, but
honestly, I think he went for the other side of the goal.
He
Yeah,
could
no,
be.
he's a. It's. I mean, for a kid
The
who's
most
like
impressive
17
thing
or
was the knee
18.
slide.
Yeah, the knee slide. He didn't even do it right. He's like too new. I mean, it's. I'm so happy for this kid. I
Yes.
hope he turns out to be as good as any midfielder that we had. But everybody's gonna be talking about him like he's next. I said in a tweet that I wonder if it's gonna be our second or first loss when when people are gonna start thinking that demanding that Patino comes in for Chaka
Yes.
and you know how people are idiots. They're just gonna start banging on that drum when we lose. This is the next excuse or scapegoat. Chaka is not the Chaka is hated because first of all he's a Wenger you know
Signing.
signing. He's what's left of Wenger, and he's a 30 million Wenger signing, and we don't have many of those. And the second thing is um, he doesn't play sexy football. He's not the quick, pacey guy. He's not the skill move kind of guy, the back heel kind of guy. He's not the player who gets on the box and finishes, which I find totally weird because like they like somebody like Tony Cruz, for example, and
Yes.
and yeah, and I love Tony Cruz's football, but I mean, he's not that far off from Chaka, and people will call me crazy for that. But I've never seen Tony Cruz control the game like that. If Chaka went to Madrid, he's gonna be spoken, in the same breath as Tony Cruz, and
That's
it's
sacrilegious.
yeah, it is. People can't say this on Twitter, but there are few truths to it because when Real Madrid bought Cruz, there was an offer from Bayern Munich to Chaka,
Really? Yeah, but he
yeah,
was in Germany at the time. Yes.
yeah, and this is Hitzfield, their ex manager. He was on TV and he said it. You can look it up on Google. He said, "I know they have made an inquiry and they have put in a bid." And he's looking for him they're looking at him to be Tony Cruz's like the new midfield maestro, but it didn't happen because we paid 30 something million for him. And when he got angry when Emre was here, the first people who inquired about him was Pep Guardiola, and Arteta said this when he came in. He said that we actually wanted him at City to replace Fernandinho, but we weren't gonna be selling him, and they went and spent 60 million on Rodri, and so this is everybody. I mean, and Mourinho was wanted to buy him. He talked about him like he's this great player who controls everything. And I don't know now. Whatever you say, whoever comes up and says it, who, any praise that comes towards Chaka is useless. Nobody's gonna listen to it.
But
Meanwhile,
I'm going to interrupt you. But and George may want to chime in here. The man was supposed to be out till January.
yeah, they extended him.
And he's back in November, and Arteta played him immediately and played him for 90 effing minutes plus.
Three
George,
games three
and
games
these
in a
people,
row.
I can't,
Yeah,
I can't,
listen,
I can't
the
comprehend it. Hang on a second, Ehab. Let George get us
Shota, the
say
funniest the funniest stat is Thomas Partey needs to hit his next 30 shots, score his next 30 shots to have the same scoring percentage as Chari Patino.
But George, you and I know George. That's simply because he had the temerity to tell the fans you don't know what the fuck you're saying and just fuck right off. Isn't that's the problem, isn't that, George?
Well, it's one of the problems, but you've also got the style of play. I mean, Arteta himself got exactly the same thing. People look back on Arteta now and with reverence at how great a player he was for us. But I remember constantly having to fight tooth and nail to get some respect for Arteta because all they said about him was he was a bog standard player. He passed backwards and sideways. You know, he slowed the game down. Everything they say about Xhaka, he made tactical fouls. You know, he wasn't physical enough. He was slow. Every single thing they say about Arteta, they say about Xhaka now, they said about Arteta then.
True.
Everything. And
they blame him. And George, they blame Arteta whenever, Chelsea or Liverpool came up and steamroll over us. You remember the 4-0? They said it was all Arteta's fault. People,
Anyway. Of course,
people's memories are so short. They said it's because he was too slow to get back.
Yeah, and he wasn't a real DM, and fucking hell, it went on and on and on, and now 6 or 7 years later, they hold Arteta up as some sort of hero that he was at the time. He was a fucking pariah with a lot of the fan base. He was a great player, though. Let me stress that. He was a fucking magnificent player.
Smart.
And so is Xhaka. But he's so underappreciated. But not by Arteta, not by Arsene Wenger, not by Unai Emery, not by every international manager he has, not by his previous club's manager that made him captain at the age of fucking 21, and not by his teammates who all voted him to be the club captain, but he's underrated by Billy the Blagging Blogger from fucking Bristol, who doesn't have a fucking clue what he's talking about. But
they're all experts. But George, some of these are ex-footballers. Premier League did sound like, what the fuck are you watching? Am I mad or something?
Yeah, he can come on and he can run the game, and he'll do one tactical foul, and they'll say, "Oh, typical Xhaka, he's always fouling." Yeah. Fuck's sake, man! You watch Manchester City, Fernandinho. He'll do a tactical. Oh, he's so clever. See how he slowed the game down there? That was what he needed. Oh, he's putting a foot in. He's not being bullied. When Xhaka does it, he's a fucking nutcase. It's absolute fucking madness. But there you go. That's where we are with fans. The jury was out. The jury came back and made him guilty because he told them all to fuck off. And he was right. They all should have fucked off.
Right. They were booing him for Emery's ball. Ehab. So, what's next? I mean, are you... I'm kind of... I don't want you to repeat what you've said over, but you're thinking that this is the real deal? 20 shots against West Ham, 20 shots against Leeds. Let's not. We have to put caveats here. Leeds were missing 8 first team players.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think you just made. We are good enough to beat the likes of Norwich.
Yep.
How good are we? Good enough to get top 4?
We're good enough to compete for the league as a team. But every player. This is Christmas, so the good news is the players that we have watched are much better than they have given us so far. Once the system catches up to it, they are able to be to be themselves. Like when the system stops being an obstacle to the quality of the players, it's going to be mad because we've never had a squad this big. You look at the team that we put out in front of Sunderland. And it's a good squad. It's much better than most of the teams that we started in 2011, 2012 in the league, in the Premier League. And we're immune to injuries because Xhaka went down for 2 months, and we had Partey, Lokongo, AMN, and Deneni all playing in his spot. We had. If anybody gets hurt, you always have a good backup. We're not playing Chambers, for example, but we had Cedric come in, and we still have Maitland-Niles to play on the fullbacks. We have Rob Holding as a backup. He came in, and it's like he was playing with kids. against Sunderland because his level is much higher than this.
Right.
And even up top, Eddie is the type of player that has really good finishing. They'll say, "Oh, it's only in front. He only in the Carabao Cup." It's not. Just don't forget that this guy uh, has always looked dangerous. He scored in the Premier League last year, but you cannot play him for 3 games, like sub him out at 70th minute and say, "Oh, the experiment has failed." This is not how it goes. Don't forget that Martinelli used to be on the bench. He used to
Yes.
be a bench player. Sometimes he didn't even play him in Carabao Cup. And
He got a game because Smith Rowe got injured. You do realize that he's got they started playing him when
they
Smith Rowe
are
got
the
injured.
we are the deep team. Imagine having options. Emmett Smith Rowe is coming off the bench now. Can you, I mean he would start for any team in the league, apart from City maybe, but
And
he would
Chelsea.
start.
And
Yeah, he
Chelsea.
would start anywhere. Yeah, but he's this is it. Odegaard is starting. We could pull back Odegaard and start Emmett Smith Rowe. Pepe is on the bench, a 70 million player. Can you imagine? I
And
mean,
he
if I came to you 5 years ago and I told you we have a 70 million player on the bench, would you have believed it? It's impossible.
I mean
Eh, we had to
then you had the
play.
likes of Shamak Squillashi and Frimpong starting. Can you imagine that, George?
So this team is gonna get better.
Yeah.
Team is gonna play better, and it has to get better. I mean, even if Arteta doesn't improve, this is gonna be our level, good enough to get the top four once everybody gels and everybody gets the roles. And if the manager improves and stops being an obstacle, because look at it. We have actually like players like Maitland-Niles, like Chambers, like Holding. Those are players that are good enough. He's giving them the Martinelli treatment. And one day things are gonna change, and he's gonna put one of these guys in, and they're gonna be starters. And this is what's gonna happen because he doesn't know. He has to know, but he still has like another 70 or 80 games to realize these kind of things.
Well, let's not we might have a chance to talk about it. What I want to do just before we start giving out our Christmas gifts and greetings, George, we haven't discussed this in any detail, and I want you and Ehab to speak about this. Where's this Arbor saga leading to? I mean, talk about a 72. We spoke about a 72 million player who can get a game, but we have a 300,000 pound a week player who's been benched, stripped of his captaincy, and it's as if, well, we're fourth and that's nothing. And I'm like, can you imagine any team except maybe City, even City, a 300,000 pound a week player sitting on the bench without a role in the team? George, tell me what is your thinking on this?
It's a difficult one because we don't know all the circumstances. It was predictable. He should never have got the contract in the first place. Someone who's so reliant on his pace and physicality and the age he was at. Arteta begged him to stay. But on the other hand, if he's not towing the line and he's the club captain, he has to set an example, and not a bad example. Now, I think he should have been stripped of the captaincy. I agree with Arteta, but that doesn't mean he should no longer have a place in the squad. That's ridiculous. Just like the situation with Ozil was ridiculous. And you have to question, is it a footballing reasons, or is it financial reasons? Do they want him off the books? They've made a mistake. They want to fucking get him off the books and get him out, and they're forcing him out, just like they forced Ozil out. And eventually, although Ozil dug his heels in, it worked. But at what cost? What I don't like is the revisionism. This is the same player who had an attitude problem when he came. There is no way on God's green earth that he would have been excluded from this team if he was getting a goal every other game like he had been up until now.
Right.
rubbish.
This is what
It's rubbish, and
Yeah.
it's false by Arteta to suggest that he would have made this stance at any given point, because he could have done it before. He's never done it before. Not only has he never disciplined him the same before, but he hasn't stripped him the captaincy, which he should have done at the last opportunity when he was dropped the last time. Remember when he didn't play against Spurs?
Yes, when he was late. He was late for training.
Not taking the captaincy then was the opportunity. Had he took the captaincy off him then, we wouldn't have had this problem now. It's ridiculous. But before I go on any further, because seem to be bashing Arteta all the time, you have to think that Arteta, in some ways, was right. He stuck by his principles and his system, and it has improved, right? Whether it could have improved easier or better, it doesn't really matter. He's improved now. And you've got to give him credit for that. And all the players he bought in the last transfer window have been good. You've got to give him credit for that, him and Edu. And not keep looking back to Willian, Mari, Cedric, the ones where he got it wrong. And this is what we all tend to do. We dig in, we have an opinion, and we dig in and try and justify our opinion that we held 12 months ago, 18 months ago. And Arteta's not doing that bad of a job right now. He's not. And I don't want to be stuck in a cycle where everything he does, I'm going, yeah, but what about that he did with Ozil? What about that he did with buying Mari? What was that all about? Why did he beg William to come? Yeah, all right, he got all those things wrong. But from this point, we're fourth in the league, albeit realistically we're not, because there's so many teams have games in hand.
Right.
But we are in a position to move forward strongly. And like it or not, for those that don't particularly like the guy, he's put us in this position. He's got us to this position where we have a good young team, an exciting young team that can play exciting football, and we've been doing it, albeit only recently. But why go back to games where we lost? I mean, you can do this with Arsene Wenger. I used to go mad when people used to say, but what about we lost 6-0 to Chelsea and we lost 8-2 to Manchester United. You can't keep going back, cherry fucking picking. We are where we are. He's doing a decent job right now. We have the chance to move forward right now. We have a great squad right now, and we have the prospects of enjoying watching football from right now. So for fuck's sake, let's move forward from this point and not try and pull Arteta down or build him up based on what went before. And it's something we're all falling into. His supporters are going, we told you so. And then that makes you go, yeah, but he made those mistakes anyway. And then you get into an argument and tit for tat and you're falling out. Everybody's falling out. We're not moving forward as a club. We have him. He's here. He's going nowhere. And it's getting better. And I'm happy. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hey, we're going forward.
George, and Ehab, the one cloud on the horizon, though, before we go to Merry Christmas, is the AFCON. Will it really affect us? Will it really affect us? Our is out of, favor. Parties, we over here don't think, we think Xhaka adds more than Party. Let's put it that way. And who else? El Nene is just occasionally gets a subsidy. Will that really affect us?
Yeah, actually, it's good for us. It's I don't think it's bad because Pepe doesn't play. So now
Pepe. Who he plays for again?
For Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yes, it's Ivory Coast.
And we have Aubameyang. We don't know what's going to happen there. Party is probably, hopefully, they will give Maitland-Niles some minutes in the middle. with Lokonga, and that's it. These are the players, I guess. If I'm not leaving anybody out.
So looking good then. Looking good. That's the point George is making. Looking good. I mean, compared to perhaps some other teams.
This is a deep team. This is a deep team. It doesn't matter. AFCON, injuries, internationals. It's a deep team. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and I like it. I like where we are right now, to be honest.
Well, so the Christmas is looking up, guys, and I, for one, I don't have the money, but I would, if I had the, my druthers, I would buy Arteta perhaps a $20,000 jumper, George. Brand new jumper, George. What would you get Arteta, George, for Christmas?
I'd buy him a nice new suit.
You don't like all that casual wear on the bench?
No.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'll tell you. A nice new suit made by Hugo Boss, probably black with red trim.
Well, Hugo Boss, that's a medium range brand, George. That's nowhere near Arteta's standards.
He's not got it, Ehab. He's missed it.
Yeah, it's a Hugo Boss. They used to make army outfits for some people.
They did?
Yeah.
But George, my Hugo Boss, anyway, retailing in America is a completely different thing. Tell us, George. Plenty of us don't get it.
It's funny when you have to explain it, is it?
Yeah.
Tell us, George. Some of us won't get it. I didn't.
Hugo Boss made the fucking uniforms the SS wore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You're fucking me up. You're showing my cultural ignorance.
Black and
Ehab,
red.
what would you get Arteta?
What I would get that? I don't know. Tactics for Dummies 101. I don't know, man.
That's not being positive.
Yeah, okay. I would nothing actually. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
All right. Who do you have a Christmas present for? Who do you have a Christmas present for?
You could get it. You could do like the Wizard of Oz thing. You know what I mean? Give people what they needed. You can give Arteta a bit of humility. That's what you could give him.
Well, that's a good one, George. He needs a lot. Well, in his presser, when they asked him after 2 years, and he said he really get a good answer. He said he had underestimated the job and how complex it would be. And I said, that's really true. I thought about Ehab. Ehab, I am going to give Aubameyang, since he's a man of swag, a gold Lamborghini. He already has a gold Lambo.
Yeah.
I'm giving him the cheapest Timex watch. I'm giving him the cheapest Timex watch. What they say, you could. What was the line when they were selling it? That you could beat it to death, but it keeps on ticking.
Yeah, keeps on ticking. Yes, this is the line.
Yeah, What are you giving Aubameyang?
For me,
yes.
I would give him a transfer to West Ham United.
George, that's not very funny. That's over to our rivals. George, what are you giving Auba?
It's good for him.
An easy get ticket to Italy.
George, I'm giving our friend Lacazette a helmet. I don't know if you get the point. I'm getting him a helmet. I like one from the NFL.
Oh.
He's a bit of a lightweight, isn't he?
He's rolling around holding his head all the time.
I tell you what, that joking apart, don't you think we're involving ourselves in just a bit too much fucking histrionics and shithousery?
That's Christmas. What do you think it's for? Everybody does so quiet and protected. We're going to do some shithousery here today. I mean the team.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, a bit like Lacazette, right? Yes.
Yeah,
Why,
pretending
George?
to be injured all the time.
Yes.
I don't like it. I
know you don't. He needs a helmet. Stop.
I want honesty.
Yes. What will you get for Lacazette, Ehab? You'd have
I'll give him a contract extension.
I don't. I don't think that's gonna happen. He's gonna end up at Newcastle.
Yeah, but I mean, we've made these mistakes before. We've sold people that we have because they haven't performed and it wasn't their fault, and we've paid massively to replace them, and we never got it from the first try.
You know, he's
So
a very important player in Arteta's system, by the way. I mean, he's critical.
yeah, because he's we don't have the ability to go down the middle, so there's nobody behind him, and he's a big piece of it. He's down the middle. He's in front of the defense.
What about that, George? I mean, I think, Arteta likes an Aguero type striker, and well,
But he's
Lacazette
got,
does
We
the
he's
all
got
dirty
it.
work, huh?
we all like an Aguero type striker. Fucking hell.
Well, you know what I mean, George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like an Henri type striker. Thank you very much. If I can
Yeah.
have one, but you can't have one. And
Right.
Lacazette's he's all right. I see, I mean, he's better. Let's be honest, he's better than Calvert-Lewin.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. What about this Ivan Tony business? I mean,
Well, what makes people think that we can get Ivan Tony?
That's enough.
This is like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going into all this misery. I'm just celebrating the fact that we're on the up, and we can be happy, and we can look forward. We can go into the games against teams like Norwich,
Mhm.
confident that we're going to beat them. 3 months ago, we were shitting ourselves playing fucking some of the worst teams in the league, looking for excuses as to why we might not be able to beat them. Now we're thinking that we'll go into these games and we'll dispatch them in the way that Arsenal Football Club should dispatch teams in the bottom half of the league. And that's
Right.
where
So we used to enjoy Christmas, but you're not getting away with this, What are you getting your boy Xhaka?
captaincy.
Yep.
I do agree with that. I will get him a captaincy, and I will get him an 88 rated FIFA card in 2023, so people will start liking him.
Yeah. I tell you what, joking apart, get him an 88 rated FIFA card,
Yes.
and all of a sudden, he would just doing that would make him regarded as our best player and one of the best players in the world. Because that's how these absolute fuckwits judge how good a player is. They don't fucking care what the reality is. It's what the rating is on FIFA.
Yeah.
You know what,
Especially
George? I would give him a name change. Some name like Fabinho or Fernandinho. And
Smith.
he will be immediately top rated.
Rice, for example.
Yes. My final virtual present, I don't know about you guys, but I think AMN's mother needs a brand new handbag with some stones in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You see, I get your joke, Shotta.
Come on.
And on that very lame note, people, Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry
It's been
Christmas.
fun so far. We, like and subscribe. We all three old geezers. We have we have a sense of humor and a point of view. But we'd love to hear your feedback.
I think we deserve some credit. We've taken a bad podcast and made it worse.
I think I agree with you.
Oh my
Ehab,
God.
have a
Yeah.
safe flight to Kiev. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
Christmas. When are you coming back? Are you going to be able to hear around for Norwich, or are you going to?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it from Kiev.
Remember,
I think-
your broadband there was horrible.
Oh yeah, but I'm actually from there. I'm gonna go back home to Arizona.
You are.
Yeah.
Have they ever seen the likes of you for years? Well, have a nice trip, my friend.
Yeah.
You
2
see your
years,
dad.
probably.
You see your parents, right?
Yeah, probably.
This is a good time to be with family. Oh, well, I wish all Gooners, like I say, you guys, I don't resent. We are very open. Well, me in particular, every guy has their little thing. You know, they have their thousands of followers, and it's all good. We're just struggling to make our mark. Please give us your support, subscribe, and we'll be back after Norwich. Thank you, George. Thank you, Ehab.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, guys.
Bye.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
All right. Bye.